Welcome to SFN, your preeminent source for space and defense news and all things tangentially related. We're your hosts, loyal to the foil, here at Houston Mission Control, and we've got Alara of Sirius in low Earth orbit. And we're here live every Sunday night.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another Space Force News Live. I am Alara of Sirius. I'm here with Loyal to the Foil. It's good to see all the cosmonauts out in the chat. How's everybody doing this Sunday night? Woo woo, Space Force. Here we are. About to get this party started.
Woohoo!
How's everybody doing tonight? How's the audio? Is everything looking good out there? Can I get a 5x5 if we're good to go?
Tell us now, right?
Yeah. If I'm too loud, too low, anything needs to be adjusted, please let us know. How's everybody doing tonight? Cad Spotter, Russ Reed, hey Keystone, Tyler, Christina, Julia, Lotus, Jennifer.
Look at all the love out there.
Yeah, I see lots of familiar faces. Got a lot going on.
Inshallah, this will be a good show.
Inshallah. Exactly.
Yeah. Indeed.
So, okay, foil. All right. Man. Look here. I did a foil. Look here.
Look here. Listen here.
Look here.
Listen to this, right?
Okay, AI Jesus. Come on.
Man, listen.
Come on.
You guys had to see it. I had to hip alert to some stuff I came across that I thought was particularly disturbing. So we have a movement, right, to bring artificial intelligence into religion. It's craziness, right?
They want to program the robots to be religious.
Man, listen.
Tell me about the scriptures.
Oh, so they've developed an algorithm. I don't know if you guys have come across this. They've developed an algorithm that is currently using like deep machine learning to read religious texts, and then it will generate its own stuff. Right? But this is even worse than that, right? This is even worse than that. There's a guy, right? There's a guy in the United States. What was his name? Lewandowski. I think.
Lewandowski. They're saying
oh, sound choppy.
Yeah. All right. You should be fine now.
Are we good now?
Yeah, it should be fine now. Should be fine now. I don't know what that's all about.
Did we not reset the audio engine or whatever it is that we're supposed to covfefe?
No, did we covfefe? We forgot to covfefe? I hate when that happens.
We forgot to covfefe. It happens. Inshallah, it won't happen again.
Okay, so they say we're good now. Yeah, we're good to go.
Okay,
so continue with AI Jesus, please.
Yeah, we're talking about some crazy stuff right now, and this is only tangentially related, but it is kind of weird, so we thought we'd bring it up. I came across a video about them trying to integrate religion and artificial intelligence, which just seems like a really horrible idea to me.
Yeah.
You know? No. They've programmed an algorithm to read religious texts and then generate its own scripture, right? Which is crazy in and of itself. But what makes it even worse is we've got a guy in this country, and I want to say it's Anthony Lewandowski, that has now filed to start a church here in the United States, basically worshiping our AI overlords. And he really believes that when the robots rise up, they're going to care if he was worshiping them. Like, he's convinced that's going to buy him some points, you know?
They even have robot priests. Where is that they got the
Japan.
Robot? Japan. They got robot priests.
And they've got Buddhist temples that have programmed robot priests. They got, and to make it worse.
Oh, come on.
I don't know if you guys know this, right? There's a guy running, I don't know if he maybe dropped out or if he's still trying to run, Zoltan Istvan. Like, I don't know. He sounds like a psychic to me, but Zoltan, or is that the Great Zoltar? Whatever it was. His name is Zoltan.
Oh, that was
Istvan.
from the movie Big.
Remember that?
Zoltar?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Every time I see that dude's name, I'm like, this is not going to end well, right?
Hey, think about what Zoltar was, right? It was that machine, that head in the machine that told him stuff.
Well, maybe that. I don't know if he had it. I don't know where he got that name from, right?
Yeah, well,
seems a little fishy.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, he's running as the transhumanist presidential candidate for 2020, right? You know he ain't voting for Trump. But what I'm saying is, right? Inshallah, these things never happen. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? I don't know. I don't know
AI
what's going on.
Jesus. What do you guys think
AI
about AI
Jesus.
Jesus?
Man.
Joanne says that sounds like a bad idea. I think it's a terrible idea.
It's a
I'm not
horrible
going
idea.
to the AI priest. And
No, not at all.
it's right up there with the vaccines and the microchips. It's no. It's a no from me. And no AI Jesus.
Nope.
No AI priest.
No. I don't know if you got this far. It was a whole long movie thing I sent over to her for her to watch. I don't know if you got this far, but did you see the part where they were speculating that maybe the AI would become such a religious fundamentalist that it would just destroy all the naysayers, and then we'd be left with,
How about it becomes
like
how about it becomes such a religious fundamentalist that it destroys the organic?
Yeah, right.
Okay, so hence,
Maybe.
like, do you feel where I'm going with this? Like maybe it already exists and it already happened, and these evil forces we're fighting are the singularity. I'm just saying.
I mean, we've touched on that.
Right. I mean, I know that's kind of conspiracy couch land. Like I get it.
A bit.
But like I'm really.
But these are factual things that are actually happening. I mean,
and this is happening. AI Jesus.
Yeah,
guys,
it's nothing we made up or thought would sound.
They're going to write their own
Space Force
scriptures,
news, right?
Right. You think we're the first civilization to think about this and advance in our tech enough to create an AI Jesus? How much you want to bet somebody else did it a long time ago? And what happened with AI Jesus? With their AI Jesus? Who knows, right?
Probably nothing good. Not imagine.
Probably nothing good. You put the nano machines together. I'm just saying. You following me here? It can get scary, the thought process there. Black goo. I know it's getting a little conspiracy couch, so I'll stop there, and we'll get into the articles. But
maybe Thursday we can dedicate to debates on AI Jesus. I think that would be a worthwhile cause.
That would be a great.
Inshallah, this never happens.
Right. Exactly. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, what'd you say, Tyler? Now you're making stuff up. He thinks I'm making stuff up. No, this AI Jesus thing is real. We'll put a link in the description below so you can check out the video. You guys
look up Zoltan Istvan. Look up Buddhist robot monks.
It's so creepy. This
is for real. Look up deep learning algorithm scripture generation. Look that up. Google that.
We'll put the link in there. Okay, so let's jump into a little Space Force news. How about
something a little more concrete? Right?
Yeah, something a little more concrete than any of Alara or Foyle's completely whacked out theories. But like we've talked about, we think there's ultimately one giant grand conspiracy. There's not.
Yeah, we don't have 100 different conspiracies. This is all under the umbrella of one massive mind
There's
control.
A lot of exciting stuff though to talk about today. Let's do the Space Force, but some of the science articles we got is some interesting stuff. It's all starting to come out, even in the mainstream, about how everything is interconnected in the universe, and it's really starting to get interesting here, guys, because the stuff I learned in school, this stuff is getting disproven almost on a daily basis now, and it's super exciting. All right,
no doubt.
Let's go to our first article, which is first members of Space Force just deployed to the Middle East. U.S. Space Force has marked another milestone for its history books, the official first deployment of its troops, and it's not to the moon.
Imagine that.
I would have written that article a little differently, but we'll go with it. 20 airmen assigned to the 16th Expeditionary Space Control Flight and the 609th Air Operations Center at I don't know how to pronounce that, Udeed Air Base. You lived in the Middle East. Can't you do it, Loyal?
I can't even see that on the screen.
Yeah, Air Base Qatar, transferred into the military's newest branch during enlistment or oath of office ceremonies earlier this month, according to a news release. The airmen are in organic space career fields. What is an organic space career field?
I believe what they mean when they use it is just a naturally arising, a traditional space career.
The airmen are in organic space career fields such as space operations and space systems operations, officials said. Those participating in today's ceremony are not only joining our nation's newest service, they are joining the service while deployed in defense of our nation, said U.S. Air Force Colonel Todd Benson, Director of Space Forces for U.S. Air Force's Central Command. In the release, I should have finished that sentence right. They are the first members of the United States Space Force to be deployed in support of combat operations, he said on September 1st, which marked the start of transferring personnel into the 6th military branch. So, yeah. And, you know, I don't know if this is you know, our little bird friend was digging into Qatar, right? Wasn't it? Am I tripping, or was she not digging into Qatar? And she saw all those planes taken off, and I don't know if one has anything to do with the other.
Right.
I'm just saying.
They were all like in a line.
Yes.
From there, and I think from Germany, she said.
Yes.
It was kind of crazy.
I haven't
in the middle of the night.
Yeah. So, does one have anything to do with the other? I don't know.
We don't know.
It was kind of.
Does look kind of fishy, though.
Yeah, it's a little bit fishy. So, next up in our Space Force news, Space Force gets political boost from Senate supporters.
No, this is kind of awesome. Right.
All right. A bipartisan group of U.S. senators announced that they have formed a Space Force caucus to help the new military branch advance issues on Capitol Hill. Senator Cory Gardner and Senator Kevin Cramer will chair the group. Senator Kristen Sinema and Senator Martin Heinrich will be the co-chairs. Cramer said in a statement on September 9th that the Space Force needs advocacy on Capitol Hill. The Space Force requires congressional oversight, authorization, and funding to properly develop and carry out its mission, he said. The caucus will provide an avenue to craft bipartisan legislative ideas and further support America's newest military branch. Other senators have been invited to join the caucus. The formation of the caucus was announced on September 9th during a video conference with the head of the Space Force, General John J. Raymond, and Lieutenant General Chance Salzman, Deputy Chief of Space Operations for Cyber and Nuclear. So that's cool, right?
Well, it's good that it's bipartisan. I mean, at the moment, there's only 4 people on it. 2 of them are Republicans and 2 of them are Democrats. But I mean, at least they recognize that this is the future. And I don't know if you mentioned it or not, but we've also got some nonprofit advocacy groups. Specifically the Space Force Association, which is kind of cool. Like, I want to be a member of the Space Force Association. That sounds like great fun.
Right. I am a Space Force operator and a member of the Space Force Association.
With a master's in space.
With a master's in Space Command.
Right. Woohoo.
Yeah, we're still on the same page, Foil. Yeah.
Aren't we always on the same page?
Right here, friend. Yeah. So, this. Everyone wants a Space Force. Why?
Everybody does want a Space Force.
Everybody wants a Space Force. Now, the question here is, does everybody already have a Space Force? And they're just deciding to disclose the Space Force things that they have, the Space Force-ish things that they already have? Or
I think the U.S. and Russia probably already have space programs. China's definitely trying to get their foot in the door. The rest of these guys, they're on coattails.
Right. Well,
France, Canada,
as
the
perceived
Space Force.
Security threats mount in Earth's orbit, countries around the world are following the examples of the United States and creating their own space forces. 9 months ago, in December 2019, the U.S. Space Force was born. The new military branch was created with a focus to protect the nation's satellites and other space assets. What other space assets do we have besides satellites?
I'm pretty sure we've got the
but the space station,
orbital weapons platform, the space station.
Right.
We've got we've got a lot of private companies launching things now too. You know, that we're going to have to protect. I'm just curious,
what are they launching besides satellites? And aren't the weapons platforms attached to satellites, really? So
I don't know. I mean, I know the other day Russia got caught doing some sort of anti-satellite missile tests, launching some space torpedoes. I think they were referring to them as. I mean, they've got all kinds of stuff, anti-space tech, electromagnetic spectrum jammers. I mean, just there's a variety of things that we've got to either make sure we have first or make sure they don't use on us. So who knows?
All right, so 9 months ago in December 2019, the U.S. Space Force was born. The new military branch was created with a focus to protect the nation's satellites and other space assets, which I already said, which are vital to everything from national security to day-to-day communications. Now, countries including France, Canada, and Japan are following suit. As leaders from those countries, Space Force Analog said Thursday during the second Summit for Space Sustainability. an online event hosted by the nonprofit Secure World Foundation. So why do these countries, as well as nations like Russia and China, want a military presence in space? According to Major General John Shaw, the Combined Force Space Component Commander of the U.S. Space Command and Commander of Space Operations Command for the U.S. Space Force, is analogous. I get stuck on that.
Analogous.
Analogous to asking why do ocean-going or seafaring nations want a navy? They want to secure the domain for all activity and to deter threats in that domain, he said during the summit on Thursday. Nobody wants a war in space.
So they want to go up there because they can, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Why not?
Why
Same
not?
reason that we want to go up there, just to check stuff out, right?
We gotta be the first ones up there, though. I mean, this is the future of defense. Period.
I don't want to go in a rocket, though. I've decided. Yeah. If Elon tomorrow was like, check it out, Alara, I'll give you a seat on the rocket, I'd be like, I'll pass. Would you go in a rocket?
Man, yes.
You would?
Yep.
Oh, come on.
Sure would. I mean, I'd probably feel some kind of way about
Elon,
it.
You're gonna
I'd
have
rather
to send
take
foil.
a ship.
I'm not going.
But, I'd rather take a ship. But if he called me up like, you want to ride? I'd be like, yep, sure do.
Yeah.
Then what?
You're going up in the rocket. Well, I'll make a meme about it. I'll be back here making a meme about it with all the space people.
Right.
We'll be hanging out. Yeah.
Maybe I can report from space.
Okay, so let me talk about the space torpedoes real quick. All right.
Man, space torpedoes.
So space torpedoes. The threats that the U.S. Space Force aims to deter are not theoretical and have already started popping up, Shaw explained. For example, in April and again in July, the Space Force detected an anti-satellite missile test conducted in low Earth orbit by Russia. The April test provides yet another example that the threats in the U.S. and allied space systems are real, serious, and growing, Space Force Commander General J. Raymond stated about the incident. And I could add many other threats that we've seen along the continuum of space counter space capabilities, Shaw added, citing the proliferation of electromagnetic spectrum jammers as an example. Jammers deliberately interfere with information beaming to or from Earth orbiting satellites. Yeah, man.
That's potentially a huge problem. I mean, everything we do pretty much is running off of that now. And it's only getting worse. We definitely have to be the first ones up there.
Yeah.
It's kind of creepy.
2020, man. We got AI Jesus and I don't know, some other crazy stuff. Okay, so next up we have SpaceX eyes Mars could be god of war as key Pentagon enabler.
Ooh, they're enabling.
So Elon Musk founded SpaceX with dreams of colonizing Mars and creating a spacefaring society that reaches across the solar system. But he's also taking on the biggest defense stocks, including names like Boeing, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman. Did I say that right, Foyle?
Northrop Grumman?
Grumman? Okay. And the relationship between his company and the Pentagon could get even closer as the military looks to space to transform how it wages war. While NASA is SpaceX's largest customer, the Defense Department has awarded the company $1.1 billion in contracts since its inception in 2002. On August 7th, the Air Force awarded SpaceX a launch services contract that could more than double that amount by 2027. Building up a constellation of satellites and developing a fleet of massive rockets that fit some of the Pentagon's most urgent priorities. Enormous military applications, exit for masses of small satellites in low Earth orbit, says Thomas Carrico, senior fellow at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. SpaceX has already solidified its role as a provider of launch services for the military, but recent comments and appearances by company and Pentagon officials reveal much greater potential for SpaceX in the defense industry. Those include global networking, missile defense, hypersonic transport. SpaceX didn't respond to requests for a comment.
Naturally.
I
mean, this is big business. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Pentagon has like 10 billion set aside for satellites to support like communication and missile defense, and then the Air Force said they had another 30 billion that they wanted for battlefield networking tech. And magically, Starlink's going to be up there. Starlink is going to be up there. And I'm pretty sure Elon was well aware of the potential. Like I've been saying since the beginning, that Starlink is not just about global internet.
No,
This is good. This is going to be
absolutely
used to
not.
provide support for our military. Period.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Or else they wouldn't be hiring Elon as a contractor to put all that stuff up there. I think I'm starting to understand his role a little bit better. You know,
I
but
really think he jumped and saw their need before they realized they were going to have to go that far, and he just started putting the infrastructure in place so that when they needed it, he'd already be there.
Russ Reed said, "Drip, drip, drip." Russ knows what's up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is some drip,
Right.
drip, drip. All right. I mean, let's cover Astra real quick for everybody.
I mean, they're trying.
I mean,
They're giving it a go.
They get a little E for effort, you know.
Yeah, they're giving it a go.
So so Astra, we really don't have a whole lot of SpaceX news right now. There really hasn't been a whole lot going on with that. But Astra's first orbital test launch fails during first stage engine burn. So Astra's first orbital mission got off the ground, but it soon came back down again. California-based spaceflight startup launched its first orbital test flight on September 11th, sending its two-stage rocket skyward from the Pacific Spaceport Complex in Alaska at 11:19 p.m. EDT. The 38-foot tall, 12 meters booster, which was carrying no payloads, didn't make it all the way to the final frontier. Well, that's unfortunate for them.
I mean, that was the plan, though. That was their plan. They only wanted to make it to the first stage. Like they want to be in orbit within 3 launches, right? And right now they just needed enough burn time to be able to analyze the data that they got back. You know, so for them it really wasn't a loss. I mean, granted, I'm sure they'd have been super pumped if it just kept on going, but that's not really how those things work usually.
Right.
You know, got to try a few times.
So, shall we move into some defense here? I've got China-India news
Yeah,
here.
we've got some big goings on over there.
I'll pull up the article here. Go ahead, Foyle.
So I don't know if you guys remember, but back in June, so there's a border dispute that's been going on between China and India for the longest. Back in June, India actually lost 20 soldiers to this scuffle, right? And they were shooting at each other not too long ago. And it's funny because China, you know, I say it every week, China is an issue. Out of the 14 countries that China shares borders with, they have been into a border dispute with every single one. Every single one. And they're trying to push up all in the South China Sea. You know, they got the Taiwan issues. They're giving problems to Indonesia. Like, they are truthfully just trying to expand. And, you know, I think they're just testing weaknesses. But in any case, so the other day, they were firing shots at each other in this you know, zone of contention here, and you know, along the disputed part of the border, and nobody got killed that time, which is kind of nice, but it did prompt Moscow to stop in, you know, which is good. I guess on Friday they signed an accord to kind of get everybody to back down a bit. We'll see how that works out, but I did think it was kind of funny that prior to them signing this agreement, Moscow, you know, the press in Moscow published a piece just kind of reminding India that maybe it wouldn't go so well for them if they tried to fight China head on. So I guess we shall see. We've got our own problems with China.
So we have major problems.
Yeah, I mean, we've got our own. And here's the thing. India is one of our avowed allies. Mm-hmm. And Japan recently signed a defense compact with India. So I mean, you know, if they start attacking our allies, like that's it. That's all. We've agreed to have their back. And so you know, a potential conflict may not even have to arise from direct U.S.-China issues. It could be, you know, China trying to curb stomp one of our allies, and we're just not about to have that. You know, but they're preparing for us. If you pull up that article Gordon Chang wrote.
I got Gordon Chang pulled up right here.
Yeah.
I'm going to show everybody. Go ahead.
Talking about China trying to configure its military to kill Americans. I mean, I know that sounds you know, super depressing, but it's pretty much true. Um, and basically he's arguing against continued trade and investment. I mean, you guys know that our previous leaders have kind of sold us out to China for a long time, and the current administration is having none of it, which is good,
Right.
because all we've been doing is feeding them the money to build up their defenses that they would ultimately, I mean, well, ultimately that would probably be used with respect to us, which is, kind of the way that they would. I can see the logic in it if as far as the CCP goes. I mean, if you're gonna make somebody pay for their own destruction, I guess. It's crazy business.
The Brooklyn Way says, I was concerned that China was going to FCC with their water supply. Also, China has it out for India because they gave a home to HHX-1V when the Tibetan government went into exile in 1959. Do you know what she's referring to?
That is true. That is true. I mean, the people of Tibet are in a very precarious situation with respect to just from their location, but also because, they're very, very spiritual folks.
Right.
And the CCP, you can have no loyalty to anything but the state. That's why they're so adamant against religions of any kind, because that's a divided loyalty as far as they see it. They're not playing that Christian stuff. There's no Falun Gong.
Right.
There's no nothing. It's you worship the state.
Davis Dog says China had made weapons deals with Pakistan recently. China will use them to attack
Oh
India.
yeah, yep. I can see that. I can see that. China is not all about force. China is about strategy. And I mean, that just speaks to the way of their people in general. I mean, they are very, they'll play the long game.
Right.
They'll play the long game. And believe me when I tell you, these things have been being set up for quite some time now. It's definitely the specter of a problem.
Tyler says the Pentagon released China military map expansion today. Very telling.
Not a surprise at all. I didn't come across that yet. I will definitely have to check that out. But
Tyler also says major article today on Chinese military. Pentagon released interest. Oh, that's the same one. He's commenting twice on the same thing.
I gotcha. I mean, well, think about it. Like, we are just now, pull up that DARPA hypersonic article because that kind of
right
fits in here. So Russia and China were on the hypersonics. They had their stuff already in production and ready for active deployment while we were still kind of in a development stage, so I mean, this is kind of good news, I guess. Not a big DARPA fan, but they say they've got our hypersonic weapons ready for flight. I guess we'll see how that goes. I know they were testing some of them. Some of those tests didn't go so well, but I guess these are, ready for deployment now, which is good. Within the next year, apparently. Well, hopefully this will be a good counter to their hypersonic tech that they're using, both Russia and China.
Yeah. Do you want to go into the next one, which is China's secret spacecraft looks to have launched at the remote base with a massive runway?
Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I mean,
since we're still on,
obviously they have secret space agendas as well. Yeah, they have. This is kind of similar to what's that plane? The space plane NASA has, X-37B. Is that right?
Yeah.
Alara, does that sound right?
X-37B.
I'm not 100% on that.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So they had something similar, right? Correct me if I'm wrong there, buddy. But apparently they've got satellite imagery came in that they recently tested a reusable spacecraft.
Right.
Which is good. They're not doing the one-off stuff anymore. I guess they tested their reusable spacecraft and was able to successfully bring it back down from orbit and land it at a super secret place, which we just happened to catch.
The object's return to Earth occurred after spending approximately 2 days in orbit. This strongly points to the secretive craft being a space plane of some kind that lands on a traditional runway. The U.S. government has also now cataloged 2 new, as yet identified Chinese objects in space, which could be small satellites that appear to be linked to this spacecraft.
Oh, they're definitely, listen, they're not going up there without a payload, I would imagine. If they're going up there, they're gonna make it worth it, and they're gonna drop stuff into orbit. I mean, as quickly as we're developing, like I talk about the net, the Starlink net. You know, they if they don't do something now to, you know, counter these moves, they're gonna be completely left behind, and they know that. They know that. I mean, they already have some tech. You know, I've talked multiple times about the EMP threat and whatever else from China. I mean, it is kind of a problem that we base our entire future on these types of technologies that can be taken out so simply, I guess. But
it's crazy. Like every article we have that's defense related, it's all China.
I'm
Like,
telling you, this
all
is yeah, this is the problem of the future for Sheezy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
U.S. isn't the only one that feels that way.
Right.
I mean, and I told you, like Japan and India just signed a mutual defense compact, and you know, like our bird friend said, there's potential there if China goes, because you see China's aligning themselves with Iran,
Right.
and with Pakistan. You know, even though Pakistan is technically supposed to be an American ally, we know that in the past they have done some kind of shady things.
Right.
That have caused problems.
I'm really sad about that Iranian guy that got executed, the wrestler.
Oh, the wrestler guy.
Yeah. Even Trump asked that he not be executed.
Well,
there was, like,
that
an
probably
international campaign to save his life.
Probably didn't help the guy's case. You know, I thought that when I first saw it. I thought, oh Lord, I know he's trying to help, but
yeah, they don't care.
That probably wasn't. Yeah,
that
was probably. It may have even pushed the issue a bit.
So sad. I don't know. Did you guys hear about that out there? It's so sad. Like, anyway,
well, what was it? Him and he had two brothers, and he was tortured.
He was protesting the was it the mask thing, or was it I don't know. He was out protesting something. I think it was the mask thing.
Did they say he was a spy? They tortured him into confessing things.
Who knows? They say whatever they want to justify what they do to people. So it's, you know, who knows? But it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. So, you know, this stuff is just ongoing. You know, it never ends. And we're making progress, though. I will say that. Like, I'm seeing a lot of progress, Foil. I really am, with stuff. And it's, you know, I think we're really getting somewhere. And I also think I'm starting to think more, you know, that news we got today too from our you know, our 17 buddy about the next 2 weeks. I don't know if anybody saw that. The next 2 weeks are supposed to be quite interesting, and we don't normally cover any of that on this show, but
is it all winning?
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be up early tomorrow scrolling through Twitter like I do. Yeah. Okay, so the next article is Pentagon official warns about Chinese drones without explaining specific security risks.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. I don't even know that we need to really go into this. I mean, we know this is I think that they're talking about commercially sold drones, aren't they?
Ellen Lord, the top official at the Pentagon in charge of acquiring new technology, appeared on a virtual panel Thursday to discuss the threat posed to the U.S. by small drones made by Chinese companies like DJI. And while it might seem self-evident to many people within the national security establishment that a geopolitical adversary like China shouldn't be trusted, Lord didn't explain why Chinese-made hobby drones are a security threat. Everything that they produce and send our way is a threat. That's what I'm saying.
Like, I wouldn't.
It's all designed to infiltrate.
If it's got programmable tech, yeah, right. I'm not.
At some point, it would be great to start hearing some specifics. The problem, as I see it, is that the People's Republic of China dominates the global market for small UAS. Lord says during the panel on Thursday, using the acronym for Unmanned Aerial Systems, specifically a single Chinese company, DJI has maintained a monopoly in UAS manufacturing with around 77% of small UAS market share. Intel follows far behind DJI with only 3.7% of the market. For small UAS technology in the thousands to $2,000 price segment, DJI's market share is even higher at approximately 86%. Lord continued, adding nothing about security threats. No, there's never gonna be.
Well, I mean, I suppose maybe there's something wrong with the the programming, or and maybe it is just about market share. They certainly do tend to dominate in certain areas. I really like that the current administration is trying to get us away from dependence on Chinese produced goods. I really am one of those people. I think anything we need, we should be able to make right here.
I agree with you 100%. It's our dependence.
If I'm going to spend my money, it should be
our dependence
on something that was made here.
Gotten us into the mess that we're in now. I mean, and they've infiltrated us so terribly. I can't even imagine if Trump hadn't got elected, where we'd be.
Well, I mean, you saw intellectual property theft is one of the biggest problems that we have with China.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we saw the Houston consulate shut down this summer.
Right.
Trump was having none of it. And like I said before, I think I said it last week. I mean, when people come over here, if Chinese nationals come over here in whatever capacity, whether they're working in academia, whether they're working at different labs, whether they're here on a work visa, they are required by the Chinese Communist Party to report any findings that may be of use to the government. And if they don't, they could be looking at serious problems when and if they go home.
Keystone says micro spying fortune cookies, right? Wouldn't that be something? I find out our fortune cookies were all a setup,
Right. Let's not give them any ideas. That'd be horrible.
Yeah. So, anyway, next.
Well, here's something.
Go ahead.
What? Yeah, space science.
We got NASA offers to buy lunar samples to set space resources precedent.
Yeah, that's
kind of interesting. Is that the one you're referring to? Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So this is what's up next.
Yeah, what they're doing. Apparently, NASA has offered to buy small quantities of lunar samples, and I mean, not for the sake of actually buying the lunar samples, but for setting a precedent for buying space resources. Right? There are a lot of people that are arguing right now that this is maybe in conflict with a space treaty, like an international space treaty that was signed. And so they're trying to set an effective precedent for going up there, for the collecting of the samples, the paying for the samples. They even said the companies wouldn't have to bring the samples back to Earth, that once they collect them and they prove that they collected them, NASA would pay the company. And it's only like maybe, I don't know, $50,000 worth of stuff that they're offering to buy, but it's enough that NASA could go up there and collect the samples on a later mission, but they would have some sort of almost like a contract law that they could follow in the future, using this as a precedent for, who knows, asteroid mining, lunar resource collection, purchasing off-planet, whatever. So it's kind of neat that they're thinking ahead in that way.
Tyler said NASA, never a straight answer. I completely agree with you. It is never a straight answer with them.
Yeah, they said, you don't even got to bring it back. We'll pay you for it. Just prove you got it.
Right.
We'll get it later.
So weird.
But, yeah.
So... this one's pretty cool. Unexpected Hubble reveals something missing in the dark universe. Right? This one's super cool. So let me read some of this. If I can get rid of this. There we go. One new theory says that dark matter may be ordinary matter in a parallel universe.
Right.
If a galaxy is hovering above in another dimension, we would not be able to see it. It would be invincible, yet we would feel its gravity. The physicist, I can't say the name, Cuckoo, said about the mysterious invisible phenomena that glues stars, dust, and gas together in a galaxy, its mass, and forms the foundation of our universe's large-scale structure. Because dark matter does not emit, absorb, or reflect light, its presence is only known through its gravitational pull on visible matter in space. Astronomers and physicists are still trying to pin down what that is.
We actually use that way to determine a lot of things. I mean, even before, there are a lot of times we have to use indirect evidence to form a theory of some sort. Like back in the day when they couldn't necessarily know that a planet or a star was there, but they could see the gravitational effect it was having on the things around it.
Right. That
would allow them to calculate for what should be there, according to our understanding of the laws of physics. This dark matter stuff, this has been big in the news lately. I don't know if you guys, for those of you that follow me on Twitter, the other day I had posted something about a bunch of physicists ran a simulation about what dark matter would look like. Did you see that, Alara? It looked to me like a neural network. It looked like neurons, right? And I
Look
had
like
said that,
neurons.
and then I was like, "What a surprise! Like the universe looks like a giant brain. Who would have thought?" And then a couple of days later, I guess, actually, I think we have an article on this.
Which one?
Uh, the one from futurism.com.
Oh, let's go to that one. Yeah, yes. This one's super
Because it
excited.
all kind of ties in.
Yeah.
Uh,
So,
Yeah, right. So, I mean, they ran the simulation. Dark matter look like neurons. We've got them, there are a lot of people that still want to argue that dark matter is just some,
yeah, no.
Farcical thing that they came up with to make their theory work, which
Yeah,
maybe
no.
it is, but I somehow doubt it. But there's a physicist, a US-based physicist, that is now speculated that that everything might be working more like a neural net, like an actual neural net, which is kind of cool. If you want to read a little bit about that, Alara, I can't even pull the article up at the moment.
Okay, I got it. So, here we go. Physicists, the entire universe might be a neural network. All right. It's not every day that we come across a paper that attempts to redefine reality. But in a provocative preprint uploaded to ARXIV this summer, a physics professor at the University of Minnesota Duluth and Vitality, I cannot pronounce these names, Van Churian, attempts to reframe reality in a particularly eye-opening way, suggesting that we're living inside of a massive neural network that governs everything around us. In other words, he wrote in the paper, it's a possibility that the entire universe, on its most fundamental level, is a neural network. For years, physicists have attempted to reconcile quantum mechanics and general relativity. The first poise that time is universal and absolute, while the latter argues that time is relative, linked to the fabric of space-time. In his paper, Van Churian argues that artificial neural networks can exhibit approximate behaviors of both universal theories. Since quantum mechanics is a remarkably successful paradigm for modeling physical phenomena on a wide range of scales, he writes, it is widely believed that on the most fundamental level, the entire universe is governed by the rules of quantum mechanics, and even gravity should somehow emerge from it. We are not just saying that the artificial neural networks can be useful for analyzing physical systems or for discovering physical laws. We are saying that this is how the world around us actually works. With respect, it could be considered a proposal for the theory of everything. And as such,
Let me tell you,
it should
buy
be
this.
easy to prove it is wrong.
I buy this. I almost completely buy this.
You already know. I know some of the things I've personally seen wouldn't be possible unless we were looking at something more along these lines.
I mean, it explains a lot more than just, the laws of physics. That would actually go a long way to explaining something towards the nature of consciousness and the connectivity we have, as a collective consciousness, and our ability to interact with
and
things
telepathy.
that maybe aren't just right.
And remote viewing. And I could
all
go
of
on
that.
and I could go on and on and
Right?
on. Yeah.
How they think we have like social memory,
Right.
that kind of thing.
What we're taught in school is absolutely trash.
We know, I don't know if you're familiar with entanglement, which Einstein called spooky interaction at a distance, right?
Yeah.
That they weren't really 100% on how that would work, but this would kind of clean that up. Stephen Hawking spent his whole life working towards the theory of everything, and
Jennifer
this goes a long
Bivens
way
says
to,
you nailed it, Foil.
Woo!
Yeah. Good job.
I mean, this goes a long way to tying that all together for sure. I definitely am buying it. And he's getting mocked for it now, but we've seen that before.
Keystone says as above, so below. And JM4N says the cosmic web. Absolutely, you guys. You get it. We got such smart people in this chat. I love it. They totally get it. They've done their research, and their mind's open enough to even learn that stuff. A lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting mocked by his colleagues, but yeah. I mean, Avi Loeb from Harvard, they were mocking him for saying Oumuamua was an interstellar spacecraft, but they're kind of listening now. Yeah, there's a lot more of them that are like, maybe they were just afraid to say it.
Absolutely.
You can't live in fear, especially in academia. You've got to be willing to put yourself out there and push something, to get the feedback from your peers. Right. Hope you don't just get shut down.
Well, I think too, this is a little off topic, but it's important to I think, surround yourself with people that challenge you too. Like,
Oh, absolutely.
That's one thing I admire about our friendship is that we challenge each other on an intellectual level, and I actually have a lot of friends like that I can, bounce stuff off of them, and they'll tell me, oh, I think that's totally crazy, or I think it's a great idea, or let's do research on that. And that's kind of what the Great Awakening is, you guys. Like we have to, just challenge our way of thinking, and what the way we believe things are, because it might not be the way that we believe things are, and we have to be open to new information, and be willing to take a look at it and process that.
Yeah, we've lost something recently in the ability to have any kind of a dialogue with people. Like, and, don't just tell me you think I'm crazy. Tell me why you think I'm crazy, and then we can discuss it. Don't just tell me you agree with me. Tell me why you agree with me, and then we can discuss it. You don't have to just shut down somebody because they don't tell you what they think. Or because you're not telling, you don't agree. I mean, we should be able to address these things and move forward.
Tyler says he wants to challenge me to a duel. I
like duels.
Exactly sure. So what's the date? Just since Tyler came up, the subject of Tyler, what's the date that you're not going to be on the show? And
the 27th.
So
I'm going
to
be road tripping. Yes.
So
that's not next week. It's the week after.
Yeah, the 27th of this month. Foyle is going to be out of town for something, and Tyler Koala from Journey to Truth podcast will be filling in her position.
Woo!
Yeah.
And I'll be watching from afar.
Right. So it'll be me and Tyler Koala doing the Space Force news that week. So yeah. Yeah. That'll be interesting, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I'll try to watch you guys from the mountains. See what happens.
Fun.
Right.
Yes, JM4N said constructive discussion is a dying art. It's true, but it's coming back.
Man.
We're going to bring it back. We're doing it. So
yeah, I think we should be able to have some debates. Like, whatever happened to the art of debate? Like, we don't even have that anymore. We just make fun of people and shut them down, and then that's it. That's all. Laugh about it and walk away. How do you learn that way?
Cat Spotter said lightsabers at dawn. Yeah, me and Tyler are gonna have a duel lightsabers at dawn.
I can
sounds
dig it.
Perfect. Yeah.
Right.
So, well, I should have brought this up while we were on the subject of China, but I'm going to bring it up because I think it's important, especially any Canadian peeps that are out there. Heads up to you. So I'm going to read a little bit of this. And this just is, I encourage people to go read the CDC numbers about that 19. Okay, it is not what we've been led to believe, not at all. And I encourage you to do your research.
6% of the time.
I encourage you to do your research, and 6%.
Right. 6% truth.
Right. We've only been told 6% of the truth about that. So on the subject, that's why this is so alarming, what I'm about to show you. So I think this kind of qualifies as far as, Anyway, Canadian technology to detect that 19 in the air. So Toronto, this came out September 11th, Corontal Energy Corporation, Canadian public company, has launched BioCloud, an unobtrusive, yeah, it's unobtrusive, guys.
Right.
An unobtrusive wall-mounted technology which detects the presence of that 19 in the air and triggers an alert system to provide real-time notifications of the pathogen's presence to faculty managers with the aim of allowing outbreaks to be contained before they occur.
And who else are they telling?
Immediate applications in schools, hospitals, long-term care facilities, and mass transit vehicles, including planes, trains, and buses, represent a game changer in the fight against that 19. There's a critical need for technology that can provide us with the assurances that the workplaces, schools, healthcare environments, and other spaces we physically occupy are safe and free of infectious disease. Today, we have that in BioCloud, said Paul Jeezy, Chief Executive Officer, and the name of the place is Control. Our team has been working day and night since the onset of the pandemic it doesn't say that in the article, but I'm just filling it in. The pandemic to bring this exciting technology to the market. It will be an invaluable tool to enhance the existing system of individual testing and contact tracing. Isn't that exciting, everybody?
Isn't that convenient?
I
am sure
2020.
I am sure that thing will automatically alert every form of government in the immediate area Like, that's horrible. That's just a horrible idea. I'm sorry.
Oh, what do you guys think?
Robot bio
Rob
spies.
says it's the boogeyman machine. Yeah, now the government can tell us when to freak the F out
Exactly.
for no reason. Too easy to hack. J Rod says too easy to hack
good
for
Lord.
one thing,
Right?
NSA for another. Right? It's this whole thing all the way around is scary. Like it's new levels of scary that just. It's just I November, okay? We gotta.
They say planes, trains. They'll be putting that stuff in grocery stores and everywhere
everywhere.
else.
Yeah, and
they'll
just like you
have
said,
people scanning our V-scene chip before we go in the door to make sure we're okay to enter. It'll be all kinds of craziness.
I'm impressed. We got through a lot of these articles really fast.
Oh yeah, we had a whole bunch, guys. I thought we were gonna be here for
we're
trying to cover it.
We're doing super good. Okay, so next we're jumping into a little bit of
stuff.
Element 115. I'm sorry, Element 115. So yeah, here we go with the fun stuff, the weird stuff, the disclosure stuff, and the weird stuff. So here we are. Does the real Element 115 have a connection with UFOs? I like that alien.
Yes.
I like the alien picture. Like he's like little
right.
blue. It's a little
that is
blue
kind
guy
of a little. Yeah, I like that.
Moscovium. I want one of these on my wall. I need one of these as a poster. Seriously.
I'm sure we can clip it and save it and then send it to that.
How cool of a poster would
poster
that be?
place, right?
I want it in my office up with my. I have the Great Awakening. You know, the thing that Dylan Monroe made. I have that map, the Great Awakening map, and the Cult of Baal, and all. I have all that stuff in my studio here. But I need this little blue guy with the periodic table.
I know that's pretty cool.
So Element 115 is an enigma of sorts. It was only added to the periodic table in 2016, yet for decades it has attracted extra attention because of a supposed connection to extraterrestrial technology and alien life forms. Intrigued? Before we answer whether there is a connection, let's find out what Element 115 really is. Element 115, or Moscovium, is a man-made super heavy element that has 115 protons in its nucleus. Emails Jackie Gates, a scientist with the Heavy Elements Group Nuclear Science Division for Berkeley Lab in California.
I have a question. I'm sorry. I have a question. This is crazy to me. You said that they put it on the periodic table in 2016.
Right.
And I think later the article says they only discovered it in 2003. Well, if it's man-made and that's the case, how was Bob Lazar talking about it in the early 90s?
In 1980.
That's all I'm saying.
No, it was in the 80s, friend.
Well, even more to the point. If it's man-made and they just figured this out, what can they make? Like 4 freaking atoms?
You know what?
Like, you can't even do nothing with that.
They might be trying to get ahead of something here.
Oh, I'm sure.
Okay, as with all elements on the periodic table, the element's number corresponds to the number of protons in the nucleus of the element's atom. That is 23 more protons than the heaviest element that you can find in large quantities on Earth, uranium. Gates says that the element 115 is an extremely rare element that's made one atom at a time in particle accelerators. It exists for just a fraction of a second before it decays into another element. Didn't Bob Lazar tell what's his name?
He said he had some.
Right. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yep. He had some.
He told his name that he had some.
Who? Joe Rogan. He mentioned it when he was on Joe Rogan. Didn't they tear
the guy that made the documentary recently? That guy.
Oh yeah, Jeremy Corbett.
That's right.
Isn't that his name?
Yep.
Yeah. He said he actually and that they tore his whole lab apart.
And the feds came in looking for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Man, he got raided like he was.
So you telling me Bob Lazar has a particle accelerator?
Right.
Either Bob Lazar is a liar, or he has a particle accelerator, or these people are lying and trying to get ahead of something.
When he first started talking about this, they were mocking him. Like, that's not even possible. Then they figure out that it is possible, and it's suddenly, now they're just trying to debunk the potential that it could be used for, any kind of...
There's more to this. There's more to the Element 115 drama here. So yeah, this is what they're trying to sell us about Element 115. It is special because it is near a predicted island of stability where some super heavy nuclei might have much longer lifetimes. Instead of living for less than a second, they could exist for minutes, days, or even years. That is long enough that we might be able to use them for practical applications, she says. Element 115 was discovered in 2003 in Dubna, Russia. This is what they're claiming. At the Flervov Laboratory for Nuclear Reactions by a group of scientists led by nuclear physicist Yuri, and I can't pronounce that last name. The element was eventually named Moscovium because Dubna is in Moscow. To make this element, the scientists accelerated ions of calcium-48, which is 48Ca, to around 10% of the speed of light, and then bombarded americium, what is that? 243 AM with them. Through this bombardment, they were able to successfully fuse the nuclei of 243 and 48C atoms, says Gates. To create a super heavy element, you need the complete fusion of two lighter elements, she notes. This process produced 4 atoms of moscovium. Okay, so
yeah, but it almost immediately decays into something else.
Right.
Like they can't hold it. And I think even now at the most they can only make 4 atoms at a time.
Right.
And yeah, it just sounds like some Johnny nonsense to me.
Check out this part of it. Element 115 and the alien connection. Element 115 was only discovered in 2003, but it may sound familiar because the name has been around for decades in connection with UFOs, aliens, and other related phenomena. We're referring to the long-lived story of Robert Bob Lazar, who in 1989 went public with what he said was top-secret information about Element 115. Lazar claimed to be a former employee of Area 51, the famous and highly classified area of Nevada test and training range operated by the United States Air Force, where his job to reverse engineer crashed alien flying saucers. He said that he'd personally worked with Element 115, which was used to pilot alien spacecraft. And he even claimed he had some at a point, like we were discussing. Is it possible to synthesize an element that heavy here on Earth? The substance has to come from a place where super heavy elements could have been produced naturally, Lazar said. Interesting. Lazar claimed that he'd seen evidence of anti-gravity propulsion technologies and 9 alien spacecraft stored in a hangar at Area 51. Those spaceships ostensibly use some sort of propulsion system that harness the inherent power of gravity and thus utilize the characteristics of Element 115 to work their technology wizardry. The government doesn't confirm the employment of anyone who's worked at Area 51, and as some sources have pointed out, the gist of his claims have never been thoroughly disproved. So, Element 115, I would be much more willing to buy into Bob Lazar's story than I would any article discussing it. Who is this coming from? Science.howstuffworks.com. Are you familiar with their stuff, Will? You're muted. Your mic's muted.
Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I read their stuff all the time. I find it funny that they think that it was such a farcical story that Lazar told that they immediately set to trying to make it, or at least the Russians did.
Right.
They believed it. They jumped right on that horse.
I'm not going to bring that. G. Morty says it is believed it is the element the Nazis discovered, enabling them to escape and set up camp in Antarctica. Interesting.
Space Nazis.
Yeah, space Nazis. It all comes down to the space Nazis, right?
It does, ultimately.
I was asking her earlier, who do you think is got the best secret space program? We were talking about this, and we both were saying, well, the U.S. And I was like, well, why is that? Well, it's because we got all the Nazi scientists. We got all the Nazi scientists from Paperclip. So
space Nazis.
Of course, we'd have the best one, right?
And,
right. Yeah. We'll get there,
I think
guys.
Secretly the U.S. and Russia probably work together in
Probably,
space.
Yeah.
Like, they're probably tight.
Probably a lot more people collaborate than we think.
Collaborators.
Yeah, Tyler says, yes, listen to Bob, not the article. I tend to agree with that, right?
Right.
Bob just doesn't strike me as, I don't know.
Yeah, he's not some
story, right?
Nutty guy, right? I mean, come on. He was talking about, they thought he was so crazy, but they certainly jumped right on it when he said it.
They sure did. It's because we all know there's stuff going on out there. Even Trump said it was interesting. Even Trump said that recently in an interview. He said it's quite interesting. You know how
very interesting.
It's very interesting. Right. What did he say? I can't even remember.
When he was talking to Don, right? Don asked him about the aliens, and he said, "I can't tell you what's there,
but it's very interesting." All right. Trump.
Well, maybe we'll get some.
I don't think anything but spaceships and aliens would be very interesting. I'm just saying. So,
I mean, right?
And what does that
say? It's got to be something eyebrow raising,
right?
Well, we're supposed to get some disclosure soon. We talked about the first week in the Intelligence Authorization Act, how they had
180
180 days
180
coming up
days.
on that time.
More
We have an
disclosures are
article on
coming.
it, don't we?
On the 180 days, no.
Yeah, top
Okay.
secret Pentagon UFO
I got
task
it right
force
here.
reportedly.
Yeah. Not made on
there.
this Earth. Top secret Pentagon UFO task force reportedly expected to reveal some findings. Yeah, man.
Some findings. No, we don't know what findings.
Some findings, right?
They got to tell us something. And I think
they're going to tell 6% of the findings is what they're going to tell.
Right, we'll get 6% of the findings, I'm sure.
So according to a recent report from the New York Times, a top secret Pentagon program has been conducting classified briefings for over a decade, analyzing various encounters between military craft and unidentified aerial vehicles. I guess they're UAVs now. We're losing the UFO nomenclature.
Or was it UAVs or UAPs?
I don't know. I'm calling them UFOs.
Even know?
Look,
they're UFOs, right? I don't care what
them
name they give them.
UFOs. I'm not changing it. I'm calling them UFOs. So who's with me?
I co-sign that. I'm with you.
Okay. Ben Williams said that's why he made Space Force. Of course, that's why he made Space Force. And that's why we're doing this show, because we know where this is headed. And right. So according to the Times, the Pentagon stated that the program was disbanded, but a Senate committee report last month revealed spending on a program called the Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. It was reported in late June that U.S. Senator Marco Rubio had requested a detailed analysis of the task force findings. The report stated that the committee supports the efforts of the task force to collect and standardize data regarding unidentified aerial phenomenon, as well as their links to foreign governments and potential threats. Now, the New York Times is reporting that the secretive task force is expected to release new and alarming findings that may involve vehicles... Alarming, that may involve vehicles made of materials not of this planet.
Like Element 115,
That sounds a lot like Element 115 to me, guys.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah.
Right?
So, astrophysicist and former consultant for UFO programs since 2007, Eric W. Davis, told the Times that he gave a classified briefing to the Defense Department agency as early as March regarding off-world vehicles not made on this Earth.
Not made on this Earth.
Not made on this Earth, okay? Over the years, the federal government has released footage of military encounters with unidentified aerial phenomena. In April, the Pentagon declassified videos from 2004 to 2015 and showed saucer-looking objects. The Department of Defense is releasing the videos in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether or not the footage that has been circulating was real or whether or not there is more to the videos. The agency said in a statement released along with the clips. The aerial phenomena observed in the videos remain characterized as unidentified. In September, the U.S. Navy acknowledged that 3 UFOs that were released by former Blink-182 singer Tom DeLonge and published by the New York Times were of real unidentified objects.
They would give it to him. I mean, I have a problem with that.
Why does he have to be...
It's the official, unofficial narrative, you know? It's the controlled disclosure.
Right. So, it's coming, you guys. How many more days do we have left until the 180s at Foil?
Oh, good
Lord.
You guys I don't know. That was like...
In the chat?
That was like 3 months ago, I think, when they passed that, yeah?
So it's coming soon. We're going to get... They've already admitted there's vehicles not made from things that are not from this world. So...
We should get a countdown. We should start a countdown. I'll figure out when the 180 days is, and we'll have a countdown.
Absolutely, we should. Ben Williams says limited hangout. Of course it's a limited hangout. Absolutely, 100%.
We'll get 180 days to get 6% of the truth.
Right.
That's what
that's why we're going to keep talking about what we actually have and the fact that it is a limited hangout till we're blue in the face.
But it's funny because even though they're giving us limited hangout, if you really start to do a survey of all of the science-related media, like even the stuff we talk about on this show, you see the threads that are running through what is being printed. And if you read enough and you see enough, you'll see the patterns start to emerge, and you can start to try and tie these things together.
Oh yeah, and the people that they're tied to, and the whole thing. They're trying to. This whole thing with disclosure has got to be the free energy. We need the free energy. We need the technologies. We need the healing technologies. We need all this stuff to free humanity. Look, I want my hoverboard, okay? I'm not going to lie. I should have had it in
right.
86. I've said it before, and I'd like my hoverboard. But ultimately, this is the goal. This is the end game. And we cannot allow a partial disclosure. We cannot allow them telling us some kind of other narrative other than the truth. and only releasing a little bit, or telling us that that any narrative that they come up with, that they're pushing, that is not the truth, is not something we're going to be cool with.
Well, it's super helpful that so many so many more people are interested now and actually give it some credence. People that probably would have laughed about it 10 years ago. I mean, what article were we looking at? It's not one that we have on here, but what we were looking at it the other day, Alara, where it was saying that during the pandemic, UFO sightings had increased by 50%, and that some people were saying that UFO spotting had replaced bird watching.
Oh, here, we've got one like here. Our fascination with UFOs. Look, I have one right here, so I'll just pull it up right now. So, our fascination with UFOs. Interesting news story among the flurry of reports about that 19 scamdemic was largely overlooked. But to those of us who remain fascinated with UFO sightings, it was quite a revelation. The Pentagon officially released 3 short videos showing unidentified aerial phenomenon that had previously been released by a private company. The videos showed what appeared to be UFOs rapidly moving while being recorded by infrared cameras. 2 of the videos feature military pilots reacting incredulously at how fast these objects were moving. The U.S. Navy released the videos officially in March after previously acknowledging them last September. The Navy said it was releasing them in order to clear up any misconceptions by the public on whether the footage that had been circulating was real or whether there is more to the videos, according to the Pentagon spokeswoman. As I got close to it, it rapidly accelerated to the south and disappeared in less than 2 seconds, retired U.S. Navy pilot David Favor said to CNN. This was extremely abrupt, like a ping pong ball bouncing off of a wall. It would hit and go the other way. Like many Americans, President Donald Trump is skeptical of UFOs. After seeing the videos, Trump said, "I wonder if it's real."
Right. It's a hell of a video.
Right? Wow, I wonder if it's real. That's a hell of a video. People say they see UFOs all the time. Do I believe it? Not particularly, he said. The government has been studying UFO. I knew they'd take that line and try to spin it to discredit us, right?
Always.
Like,
he has to say that.
I know he has to say it, but he's got to get past this election, you guys. Like, that's the main thing. He's got to get past this election. These arrests have to happen. The swamp has to get drained, and then, like, I believe we're going to go straight into some of these things.
I hope so.
Because the ball's rolling in the right direction. It's definitely rolling in the right direction.
Did you see, and this is only tangentially related, but did you see Greg Gutfeld on Fox News today, I guess, was talking about if Trump won the election, it basically that, I mean, we're looking at like some kind of an armed insurrection. I mean, one thing that might be able to make people stop in their tracks and realize we have other issues to worry about would be some real disclosure.
It's really interesting. I think I did that again. I had the article just sitting up there, an article I wasn't even reading while you were talking.
It happens.
Well, I might as well cover it since it's so hold on. So this is what you were talking about earlier. I think I pulled up the wrong one. About the 180 days. It is a CNN,
probably.
It is a CNN article. We hate to use those here for any reason. But
not every single
comes from
thing
multiple
they
sources,
say is a lie.
correct.
But yeah, this was found like 10 other places.
So
we already know about the 180 days. They said the government said it themselves in the Intelligence Authorization Act. But
yeah, the Pentagon will release new information surrounding UFO encounters for the public to see. Where's the rest of the article?
That's it. It was the video. I think you had pulled it up for the video.
And we can't play it, can we?
I don't know.
We don't know.
We got to figure out the rules on that.
Okay.
Tech support. We need Dutch tech support. Right.
I don't think Dutch knows the answer to that, but Dutch, we need to know if we can.
We need to learn about copyright strikes.
Docked. Right.
Right.
So we'll learn. We'll learn, and if we can, we'll start playing videos. But
I saw this really well-respected physicist on another channel on YouTube that I watched the other day, trying to debunk these videos, and I find it. There are people that will try to find alternative explanations for everything, which isn't necessarily unhealthy when it comes to science. You want to find alternative explanations so that you can refute these things. That way it's dead in the water. But he was kind of laughing about the pilots. Like, these guys know what they saw.
Right.
You know, they knew what they were looking at. This wasn't just a plane that was too far away and they didn't know its location and mistook it for a Tic Tac. That doesn't happen.
Rob TFF says, I'm convinced the Tic Tacs are either AF or private defense companies. And Chase Taylor says 2021 will be the year of disclosures. I agree. The Tic Tacs, I think, I don't know what to think. We have really advanced stuff, you guys, like super advanced. So do the ETs, and I think our stuff's getting to where it can match some of their stuff now. Like,
we definitely have ARVs. We definitely have replicated vehicles, things that we have back engineered.
Oh, absolutely.
The TR3B is one.
The TR3B, though, Foil, we've discussed this, is really dinosaur technology as far as secret space programs and spaceships.
No doubt, but back engineered and something that people could be shown and they might understand.
Yeah, I think it's the first step in disclosure. As far as disclosing and decloaking the ships, the first step would be to decloak
the ships.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that would be the first step because, I mean, they're not going to release the most modern stuff that we have. They're going to keep some stuff, we're not going to go from
let everybody know everything.
Yeah, we're not going to go, but it would be nice, but it's not going to happen. So, I'd be happy to get the TR3Bs decloaked in the Astros. I'd be good with that. I'd be
preferably before the AIGs takes over.
I mean, look, once that's done, it's like the jig's up. Free energy, like it's got to happen after that because the jig is up. Like everybody's gonna know we're not dependent on gas, coal, and oil. We've been manipulated, so.
Well, that's a big part of the problem. I mean, fighting the entrenched system of people who have built entire economies and governments and countries and understandings of the world based on fossil fuel based economies.
Which means we need to have a new financial system ready to go. If you really look, we do this digging, Foil, the quantum financial system, the quantum computing, the quantum internet, all this stuff is already set up and it's already ready to go. It's already ready to come online. What is Project Odin? I don't know. What is it?
I did see somebody speculating that quantum computing was possibly something fueling the Mandela effect. Now, I know that's more conspiracy couch related, but I'm just saying.
We've got all the Starlink satellites going up in rapid succession. We got them all going up.
Yeah, he's got like 700 of them up there. I think he got approved for like 12,000.
So everything, oddly enough, the new system is going in is the point. The new system is going in. So if there was ever a time where we were ever headed that way towards being able to decloak one of these ships, and
I hope so, man.
We're definitely headed that direction. Maybe not as fast as we'd like, but we're definitely headed that direction.
Inshallah, they'll tell us the truth.
Inshallah, yeah.
I know.
Absolutely.
Right. We got to get there.
That's Foil and I's new word. We don't know why. We just really like it, so we're adopting it, right? Because everything is,
Yeah, inshallah.
Right. As long as the creator, as long as the creator's cool with it, hopefully it'll happen.
If the creator allows it,
then
we're down with it.
At the space-time vortex continuum, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's our new word. So if you guys wonder why we keep saying that to each other, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it. It's kind of a philosophy.
Right. Completely.
If the creator, if the universe allows it, inshallah, it will happen.
Cad Spotter's asking about Mandela effect.
Oh yes. Okay, for those of you that may not be familiar, so there's an argument as to whether or not it's a false remembering by a large group of people, but basically you've got large groups of people that remember very specific events in very, very diverse ways. For example, named after the Mandela effect, because Nelson Mandela, I remember him dying in prison. I remember seeing it on TV. I remember it, period. But apparently, on this timeline, he got out of prison.
There's all kinds of stuff like
2013. That. Yeah, I mean, the Monopoly guy, did he have a monocle? Did he not have a monocle?
If you aren't aware of the Mandela effect thing and you want to go down that rabbit hole, Edge of Wonder actually has a really good series of Mandela effect videos that show a lot of examples of different Mandela effects and the weirdness with all that. So
I've seen the quantum computing might be affecting it, and then I also have seen something where it's kind of glitch in the Matrix type thing. Right. So, who knows?
It's definitely weird. There's definitely some weird stuff going on, and I definitely know some game changers are about to happen on our planet. Some serious game changers, And when those game changers go into effect, which I think is coming soon, we could be looking at some real disclosures and some real, maybe some decloak the ship eventually. That would be nice. Decloak the ships, right?
Inshallah, we'll be on the right timeline.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we are. Keep the faith. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, Foil. We did great tonight. We got through all our articles. Oh, and Tyler, we got one more. We got to cover Tyler's article, but we can't pull it up because it's National Geographic, Tyler. So,
oh.
Yeah, you got to pay. It's a paywall. So we can't pull it up, but what was it about? I'm trying to remember.
We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah,
if you tell me, I'll remember.
There's the two tweets too. Oh yeah, so there's two Space Force announcements that we do need to make real quick before we close the show. One of which would be United States Space Force tweet. We are up by 60. The 11th Space Warning Squadron swore in approximately 60 members into the United States Space Force at the wings over the Rockies Air and Space Museum in Denver.
Awesome.
Here is the article here. The dawn of a new era.
We got 60 fresh faces. That's sweet.
Yeah. And then here we've got the coalition.
Ooh, we got a space coalition.
Right. Now includes 77 nations and outer space. Captain Brian Fong recited his oath of office for the U.S. Space Force September 5th in Iraq. Fong is the first at Space Force DoD officer in CGTF-OIR history.
Now, I will say that I noticed that the United Nations has now made a outer space kind of working group. They mess up everything, man. I hope they can find something else to do. They're down here trying to ruin things.
I didn't see any alarming space weather. We don't have any bursts headed our way. Solar wind is pretty mellow. And the Schumann, which I'm showing you on the screen right now, is pretty mellow too. It's pretty low, actually. It's pretty much on the low side. But we do have this weird pattern over here to the right, where my cursor is. This was the pattern that happened last time, right before the machine went down. Now, I don't know if one has anything to do with the other, but this is the same strange interference pattern that we were seeing right before the Schumann went down last time. So, I don't know. And it looks like, and look, it's blacked out right here, Foil. I just noticed.
Well, isn't that they had? I know the other day they had to reset.
Is that just what it does before they reset it? Or are you sure that's what happened, though?
I'm telling you. Well, I read that,
Right. Well, anyway. So, yeah, there's nothing really, nothing alarming to report with any of that kind of stuff.
What was Tyler? What was Tyler? Because that was something interesting. The National Geographic thing. What was that about?
Well, let me go look. It was... Where did it go? Did you like my whistle? That was cool, huh?
I did. Yeah, that was very sweet.
You're welcome. NASA sent a map to space to help aliens
find
Earth,
right?
And now it needs an update.
Man, bad idea.
Right?
Bad idea.
Totally
as far
bad
as I'm
idea.
Yeah. I assume that, now we don't know because it's behind a paywall, but we assume they're talking about the golden record that they sent out on Voyager.
Right.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they just sent our coordinates and little DNA information and some stuff out into interstellar space, so that whoever can come and find us. That sounds like a great plan. Glad they thought that all the way through.
Humans, right?
Right.
Something else.
Can't live with them, man.
Yeah. So I just wanted to say a couple things real quick before Foil closes out the show. Keystone Channel does Great Awakening Mondays, which would be tomorrow.
Whoop, whoop.
Yes, and her guest this week will be JT Wild. I'm sure that will be a really fun show. So
Glitch in the Matrix.
Check out Keystone Channel, like and subscribe. And what else we got going? Wednesday, Pink
Who's
Patriot.
on Patriot?
Yeah, Pink Patriot podcast, which is the new name for Pink Patriot Hour. Our guest this week will be Red Pill Babe. And
awesome.
Yeah, the promos for that will be out tomorrow. That is Wednesday night, 6 p.m., 9 p.m. Eastern on the Kate Awakening channel. And what else? Conspiracy Couch this week. I'm not sure if we're doing it or not doing it. I will post an update on Twitter. And Foil won't give me grief. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe she will.
Oh, I'm giving you
We don't
grief,
know.
man.
Yeah. So, and
Inshallah, we'll have Conspiracy Couch.
And Kate's regular, I believe Kate's going to be doing her regular live stream she does on her channel Tuesday night at,
Woohoo!
I think it's 6. Kate, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's 6. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So yeah, I think that about covers that stuff. So
Guys, make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow us on Twitter. Our links are in the description below. You can donate to Space Force News specifically at loyaltothefoil.com, also in the description below. Make sure to meet us here next Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 Eastern for another awesome episode of Space Force News Live. Keep your eyes on the skies and stay loyal, my friends.
we are the news in this dimension and the next.
And the next.
Good night, cosmonauts.
Peace out, space peeps.
We'll see you next week.